Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to address whatever topics you might like to discuss. Whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss dating, relationships. You can discuss marriage, divorce. You can discuss raising children, blending families. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we are here live in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is always brought to you by Fiji Water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. We were having a little audio technical difficulty, so we seem to have gotten that resolved. And as you know, we are live here in 3D, so you're going to hear sounds and noises from time to time because we are live, but we do the best we can to make certain that we address all of our technical and audio issues. So thank you for tuning in today. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast, we thank you for your support and your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here to address whatever topics you might like to discuss and whatever issues of life you find challenging, and for those issues that you find difficult to navigate. So, and I also want to thank those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment by giving on the contribution page on our website at New Life Ministries International.com. We don't take any of that for granted. We thank you for your support. We thank you for making the commitment. We are here for you. This is your broadcast to receive daily divine direction from God. And so I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your husband tells you that you are constantly trying to do too much. However, you feel as though if you do not do it, then it will not get done. Let me address this because this is real important for all of our listeners and viewers. Okay. First of all, for you, our listener and viewer who sent in this communication, God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life as I was prayerful about this. Your husband's correct. You are trying to do too much. It will get done. But even the things that you're doing, the question you have to ask yourself is, are you pacing yourself appropriately? Are you doing what's necessary to ensure that you are getting everything done effectively and efficiently? See, the problem with many of us as human beings is that we are trying to do 100 things, and I'm exaggerating, but okay, how about this? Trying to do 4 things at one time. The reality is that each of those things are getting about 25% of our time and 25% of our spirit. So we're never getting everything done effectively and efficiently. We're trying to do too much because there's so much to be done. So let me walk you through this. You've got to pace yourself, and for all of us, we really have to focus on pacing ourselves, not by a 15-minute span, but by an hour span or a 2-hour span. So I like to focus on everything for a 2-hour period of time. Now, that may not be something that everyone understands because you think you need to get more done. But if you're going to get it done effectively and efficiently, it's going to take you about 2 hours. See, you can be effective in an hour's period of time. You can't be effective and efficient in an hour's period of time. That's why I try to do everything in 2 hours. Now, you might disagree with me, but I can tell you it's a proven fact. here's the reality. There's a reason that it says effectively and efficiently. And the reason is because we have to pace ourselves. And it takes us an hour to be effective. It takes us another hour to be efficient. So I'm doing everything on a 2-hour period of time. Now, does that mean that it might take you the entire 2 hours to get it all done? It may not take you the entire 2 hours. I'm going to give you an example of that today. So normally production for the broadcast begins at 11:30. And then the broadcast begins at 12:30. Then post-production usually ends by 1:30. That's a 2-hour span. And that's so that we can be effective and efficient. That doesn't imply that there won't be technical issues from time to time. That does not imply that there won't be audio issues from time to time. But what that means is that we can produce a product, get it on the air, and make certain that we can give the best presentation that we can give today. Now tomorrow we want to be better, but today we're giving the best presentation that we can possibly give today. Now I will tell you that today it took me right up until time to sit for the broadcast to get everything completed. There are days that I have a few moments to breathe before the broadcast begins because we've gotten everything done. But because we've been having some little challenges, we have to address those. So I say all of that to say everything we do throughout the course of our day, if we're going to be effective and efficient, we need to block out 2 hours of time. There are some days it may not take you to be effective and efficient. It may not take you 2 hours to accomplish that. It may take you 90 minutes. Some days things just go so smoothly that it might take you 90 minutes to be effective and efficient. You might have 30 minutes that you can do something else, or you can prepare to do something else. But if we're going to maximize our success, if we're going to maximize our effectiveness and our efficiency, it's going to take us 2 hours. The problem is most people we've got in this mindset that multitasking is the way to go. And the truth of the matter is, multitasking implies that you're doing more than one task at a time, which means you're never going to be able to give any one of those tasks 100%. So we've got to be really effective and efficient in everything we do. And to do that, we're going to have to slow our pace down. So what your husband's been talking to you about is that he sees the inefficiency. You might be effective at getting things done, but he can see the inefficiencies that occur from what you do. How some things fall through the cracks. How some things appear to be done, but then you have to go back and revisit them, which is never going to get the best result. So all he's really trying to say is that he really wants you to be the best version of yourself. He wants to make certain that everything in your lives becomes the best version of itself, and he wants to really experience the fullness of God in your lives. Now, you might be sitting there right now saying, but my husband only goes to church when I ask him to go to church. He goes on holidays. He goes, maybe every other week when you ask him to go. Some weeks he'll tell you he's got to do the lawn. Some weeks he'll tell you he's got something else to do. I get it. You might be saying, well, how's he going to experience the fullness of God? That's going to be part of his growth. But he's trying to get your household to be in a place of order. He's trying to get your lives to be in a place of order. And you can continue him to encourage to develop a more profound relationship with the Lord. So for all of our listeners and viewers, let me say this, because this is a great communication that will allow all of us to be better. Let's really stop trying to do 100 things. I'm exaggerating. Let's stop trying to do 4 things every hour and only getting part of them done. Let's try to make certain that we are being effective, that we're being efficient, and that we're getting the best result. Let's try to make certain that we are pacing ourselves to ensure that everything we do maximizes the success that we're trying to accomplish. Let's slow our pace down. Life is not a sprint. It is a marathon. And in order for you to run a marathon, you have to pace yourself. First of all, you have to train yourself. You have to train your body to be able to endure that long journey that you're about to embark upon, 26.2 miles. You have to pace yourself. You will get to know your pace, the pace that you can operate and be effective and efficient. But once you find your pace, stay in your rhythm, continue to work and get everything done that God has appointed and purposed for your life. But all of us have to make certain that we're pacing ourselves to be the most effective and the most efficient that we can possibly become better versions of ourselves and experience the fullness of God in all of our lives. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer and you have not been for the previous 90 days, you may call or text on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you over into our queue so that you can become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill. And if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are considering starting a new business venture. However, you want to know what can you do to ensure the success of your business. So there's a lot of things that you can do to ensure that your business becomes successful. And those involve good administrative skills, those involve the process of developing your business, those involve, and then growing your business, of course. They involve managing your business and people effectively and efficiently. The marketing aspect is going to be significantly important. And the operational aspects of your business is going to determine your long-term success. Having said that, let's start with first making certain you are going into business for the right reason. So let me talk about that for a little bit. Often people think that going into business will allow them to make a significant amount of income. That's one reason people go into business. And the second thing is people will often say, if I go into business, I can be my own boss. I can work my own hours. I can have some freedom and flexibility. Those are all things people tell themselves about owning a business, becoming a business owner, an entrepreneur. Those are not the right reasons to go into business. They're just a result of being successful in business. Those are, the money's just a way of keeping score. You know, your revenue is just a way of keeping score of how you're competing with other businesses in your sector of business. So making a significant amount of money is not the most important reason for going into business. And being your own boss. Some people need a boss. Some people need someone that is going to hold them accountable in performing a job or performing in a career, a profession. So some people need a boss. God hasn't given them that gift and talent of being a boss. So they have to work for someone else. Because being an employer, being someone's boss, requires, first of all, your desire to, as an employer, to find a product or service that is going to have an impact on our society, that's going to some way impact the lives of people, the society in which we live. So that has to be one of the reasons for going into business. The other reason, and I'll go through many reasons, but The other reason for going into business is because you have a vision that God has provided you for not only your product and service that's going to impact society, but you are willing to facilitate the vision, which is then going to employ people. It's going to produce product development for vendors. There are people that you are willing to take on the responsibility of getting out of bed every day, because they have to have a job, a place to work, a profession that they enjoy or that they are equipped to pursue, that they can then pay their mortgages, feed their family, send their children to school. You're willing to take on that responsibility because God has placed that responsibility in your life. You're willing to do that knowing that people are depending on you every day. So that's why that's another reason you become an employer. And when you become someone's boss, your responsibility also includes you developing them to become, it's called professional development, to become the best version of themselves that they can possibly become, so that they too can participate in building your company and making your company stronger, so that all the people who work there have a place to go every day to generate income for themselves and their family. That has to be a reason for going into business. Your reasons cannot be about you, first and foremost. They cannot be about you and yours. And many times, people go into business for the wrong reason. They think it's going to give them, I can make my own schedule. Well, yes, you can, but if you don't generate revenue in your schedule, there's going to be a lack of success in your company. I can have more flexibility. I can move around the way I want to move around and do what I want to do. That's not a reason for going into business. Because if you're so flexible that you don't spend enough time focusing on your business, then your business is going to suffer, your revenue is going to suffer, and anyone who's working for you is going to suffer. That's not a reason to go into business. And the money cannot be a reason for going into business. The money is a way of keeping score, as I said before. The money, the revenue is a way of you knowing how much market penetration you're achieving. It's a way of keeping score. Am I competing in my sector of business at a high level? Because revenue's coming in. You have your market share. You have to know that you're doing everything you can to maximize the success of your business. And the way that one of the ways that you establish metrics, measurables, is by the revenue. That's part of business. You've got to make sure you're going into business for the right reasons. And the reason that I'm bringing this up to you is because thus far, your thought process has been, I can do what my company is doing, and I can, instead of making money for someone else, I can make money for myself. I can build a business, employ some people, and then I can take time off and I can do the things I might like to do. And you have to make sure you're going into business for the right reasons. That revenue is a way of keeping score. Your opportunity to do certain things that you enjoy doing is just another result of the success of your business. And that's what we have to recognize when we're considering going into business. It has to be for the right reason. Do I have a product or service that will have an impact on society? Am I equipped and willing to take on the responsibility of other people's lives? In other words, I know that there are people depending on me to get out of bed every day. You have to be willing to take on that responsibility. That's why you go into business. Because God has placed it in your heart and in your spirit to know that I can take on that responsibility and help other people to build their lives through my business. I'm willing to have people depending on me every single day. And then when you become someone's boss, am I willing to develop them professionally, to become the best version of themselves, so that they can participate in the vision, so that they can help the company to be successful, so that their colleagues, their peers, those who work within the company have the opportunity to be successful and to take care of their families and send their kids to school and pay their mortgage and pay their car notes, all of those things that people are doing every day because they're working. Those have to be your initial reasons. Then everything you do after that becomes the result of you making those decisions. Becomes the result of you making the decision to impact our society and making the decision to be willing to take on the responsibility of others and make the decision to develop people in their professional careers. Don't go into business right now until you have a renewing of your mind. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., New Jersey, and the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. If you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. Check for the store hours during this pandemic. Stop in at the retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. They have shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. I'm in Charles Tyrwhitt Attire today. If you are not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And the White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store. They have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York, and they're also located in the Short Hills Mall in New Jersey. If you're in any of those areas, you can check for the store hours, stop in at the retail store. You can find everything that you could possibly need. They have home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. If you're not in any of those areas, you can shop and purchase from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have definitely been overindulging as things begin to open up. However, now you are feeling lethargic and that you are not being productive. Well, that's exactly what's happening in your life because, as you said, you've been overindulging. Some of the results of that are what they call a hangover. The reality is that we don't really want to live life missing opportunity. And when you're lethargic, when you're hungover, when you are not in the frame of mind of being productive, you are not maximizing your opportunity to be successful. So let me first of all say this. As I said, this is more commonly known as a hangover. Now, one of the reasons that I encourage people not to drink is because, first of all, you are putting alcohol, poison, in your temple of God, in the body, the temple of God. So it's not good for you for health and wellness. That's the first thing. Secondly, when you're hungover and you're not being productive, you are wasting time. When you're wasting time, you're wasting opportunity. And when you're wasting time, you're wasting money. You're missing opportunity to create more revenue, income for yourself. You're missing opportunity to maximize your success. So as much as it might seem fun to spend time with your friends, and hang out and do the things that you like to do, I suggest, and first of all, let me just say to all of our listeners and viewers, as I was prayerful about this, God just spoke to me and said to remind you that this is the temple of God. The body is the place where the Holy Spirit, the body and mind are where the Holy Spirit dwells. So you can't get your body right and you can't get your mind right, you're not going to get your spirit right. So what you have to remember is that whenever you overindulge, whenever you wake up in the morning and you're hungover, you're lethargic, you use that example. You're not moving at an appropriate rate of speed. I said pace ourselves. But you're not moving at an appropriate rate of speed because your body is sluggish. You're lethargic. So your mind is sluggish. You're not able to think quickly. You're not able to move at the pace necessary to maximize your success. So all of those things become a factor. And what we don't want to do is to miss opportunity. When you're lethargic and you're not moving at an appropriate rate of speed, you're going to miss an opportunity. And what we're looking for in every day, let me say this to all of our listeners and viewers, what we're looking for in every day is that moment when we encounter the favor of God. There's at least one moment of favor of God in every day. We're living throughout the day and working throughout the day to find that one moment of favor. And when we find that one moment of favor, it then begins to allow us to build momentum on everything we do. So our goal is to find that one moment. And if we are lethargic because we're hungover, we're going to miss that moment of favor, which means we're going to miss that opportunity. There's opportunity and potential in every single day. So listen, I'm thankful that you shared this so that I could respond. I need you to know that this has to be the first day of the rest of your life. You have to be willing to say, I'm going to make some changes in my life that are going to allow me to maximize my success, to be more productive, to maximize my success, and to experience the fullness of God in all of our lives. We want to be the very best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. And I know there's some people out there that will say, Pastor, you must be living a boring life. Well, here's the reality. And the reason I know there's probably someone out there saying that is because my daughter thinks that my wife and I are very boring because we're not hanging out. We're not doing the things that people are doing in the world, searching for what people perceive to be fun. That's really just an illusion. We're trying to do productive things with our lives every single day, and that doesn't mean that we don't enjoy doing other things. Everyone that knows me knows I'm an avid golfer. I love to play golf. I also love to run. I love to work out. Well, maybe not love it, but I do it because it's necessary for our health and wellness. But those are the things I enjoy doing. I can play basketball. I can play racquetball. I can play tennis. Those are things I can do to have health and wellness, but to also get some exercise so that I continue to be productive. And I encourage everyone else to take up some of those habits, because drinking is not going to enhance the quality of our lives. Smoking is not going to enhance the quality of our lives. I once loved a good cigar, but I don't smoke cigars anymore because I realized I haven't since the fact that I said 19 anything is enough to get the point. I don't smoke cigars because I realize long term it's not good for our health. So I don't drink soda. I don't drink alcohol because none of those things are good for our health and wellness. So I try to stay within things that are going to improve my health and wellness, and at the same time maximize our success, and I'm encouraging you to do the same thing so that you can maximize your success and